And this is one of his favorite drills. What we're going to do is, again, we're going to get set up in a brace position. We're going to take our club and get the butt end of the club pointing up at your sternum. So the club will be off the ground this way. As we make our weight transfer, the club will stay right in front of our chest. And if I can show you this way, this is what it's going to look like. Okay, you notice the club doesn't turn over here or be way out in front of me. There's a triangle with that club right in the middle of it in front of my chest. So simply put, again, we'll go here. We've got the butt of the club pointing at our sternum. Weight transfers back. Weight transfers through. That club stays right in the center of my chest the whole time.
And if you use the right parts of your body, if you use the big muscles, you can swing without shoes on, and it doesn't really. People have asked me all the time, you notice, no shoes, barefoot. Why do you practice? Why do you play barefoot? Well, it's fantastic on balance. It's fantastic on feeling the ground, obviously, because I have no shoes on. So that's what you want to really understand, and how much footwork is important. And if you use the right parts of your body, if you use the big muscles, you can swing without shoes on, and it doesn't really matter, but you really feel what's going on. I definitely feel it. Huge sense of balance, huge. See, there's no slipping around, but if you notice on where my weight is going, on these backs, on these swings, when I get it back, it'll be into my, kind of centered, in the center of my foot. When I go through, it'll go towards my toes, not to my heel. I know that sounds weird, but you'll never see that. As long as it goes towards your toes and under actually the ball of your foot too. See where it's there? I always feel like I'm here. I always feel like I'm up. So what that does is it stands me up, it keeps me level, and my feet are still on the ground. But now, we're gonna try something a little different. Water, dump it, dump it. Yeah, very nice, nice dumping. Thank you. All right, one more. I need one more. Another one? Okay, so now, it's kind of icy. So, if that case, if what I just said is true, pretty wet. Let me get a little more over where it's really wet. Is this good here? Okay. So let me set it up here. Now, if I'm right about what I'm saying, I should be able to swing with a lot of water and a much slicker area underneath me, and not fall on my butt. First one's good. But you see, it's still the same, even though it's less stable. It's not obviously as dry, and it is wet. I should still be able to do it, and that's why I've learned balance, 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 balance. It's the most important thing. You know, it's not a lot of things are moving. Ground soaked, and I'm still on my feet. I'm still here. I didn't slide all over the place. I didn't fall down. Of course, I might on the next one, but so. I can't tell you enough how important this is, and I would take guys that twist a lot in their swing, turn a lot in their swing, have a lot, or their feet are all over the place at impact, and you've seen it on television, and I'd make them play barefoot for 2 or 3 days. I guarantee you they'll stop doing what they're doing, because if they don't, they're going to fall down. So it's a really good way to learn how to actually use your feet in the golf swing, and believe it or not, they are important. Pretty solid. So, like you said, as you saw, it really wasn't any different than when there was no water on the ground. So, some of the clubs don't like when you play barefoot. I happen to be allowed to do that here, but you might want to ask first. Enjoy it. Shorter club, and the ball can come back a little bit maybe, but that's about it. So what I try to feel, and what helps a lot of people, is on the driver, which is the biggest club in our bag most of the time, unless we have a long putter, I want to feel I'm going to play on my feet. So I want all the weight at the top on the right, not all of it, but a lot of the weight at the top on my right. And then after I hit, I want it all on my left to where I can pick this foot up, which means I'm back here and I'm back here, so I can pick up. And that is an actual really good use of the body. The body moves the golf club, not the arms and hands. They just hold on to it. A lot of people would disagree with that, but they're wrong. But it's all from the legs. The legs drive this motion in this golf club, not the arms and hands. The arms and hands cannot be trusted. These can, and so can these. I move everything from center. You notice I don't set up like this. Not that that's wrong. For me, it's wrong. I set up off center, which centers my sternum. So I set up off center, so everything, there's not 8 parts. There's 1 part and there's 2 parts. That's it. That's pretty simple to remember that. I don't feel like I'm going, okay, 1, see that's death to me. So I don't rotate the left forearm. The left forearm stays here and the elbow stays down. So now the club's in a position to hit. It's never wrapped around me. Anytime your elbow gets sideways, the club goes sideways. See it? Anytime the elbow gets down, the club is in a position to where I can make it go back here. It's just that simple. It is simple, it's just hard to do. Most of the people that swing the golf club get the club behind them and they gotta do something funny to get it. Anytime you can get the elbows down where the club's here, it can be returned back to center. Much easier than if it's around you.
With back pain? Especially on the golf course. I sure have. Back and hip pain have plagued me for years. In search of some answers, I stumbled upon this video. It is a little old, but this swing is easier on the body, but it is also straightening me out because I'm not flipping my hands.
Buddies, whatever, their ground up part is no good. Their feet are too close together, toes are sideways, or bent over. With bad back guy, can't do that. When I went to see Jim in 2004, that's why I'm still here. Because he showed me how to use the body correctly and not hurt it. So I have no pain, which is, I better not say it too loud, but so tell them how, go ahead, give it a rip.
Well,
how do we start?
It all starts with posture. We just want, we want your fanny underneath you. You want to brace your legs in. You want to be shoulder width. One very, very important thing, a fundamental of the golf swing, is to turn that right toe in. That's what creates coil and resistance. If that toe's turned out, you twist too much. So that's the fundamental that we did of getting his posture and getting him up. We wanted to get his spine and get him balanced, so then it's easy to go to his right leg inside, never outside, and go to the left. And that way your balance is right foot, left foot. It's inside the right foot to the left toe. And that's where your balance should be in the golf swing. You don't want to be
what it is in every other sport. Every other sport, it's right to left if you're a right-handed person. It's right. It's right. I call it back to the right, up to the left.
Yeah.
So when I stood there with a bad back, feet like this, basically heels together, basically, and bent over, I mean, it destroys that, and this really hurts. So what I learned is outside shoulder measurements, like he's always inside my feet, so it looks like that. So now I have balance, right? Standing like this, I have balance. I'm not standing like this, so I can move as much as I want, side to side. I can do whatever I want. But there has to be moved back into the right to make the ball go forward, period.
The outside shoulder width to the inside of your feet.
Inside your feet,
That's
yes.
a Hogan.
Absolutely.
Also.
Absolutely.
Hogan also talked about the right foot being perpendicular to the target line.
And then later he even talked about turning it in.
Okay,
Yeah.
he sure did. More so.
And that creates the coil. See, that's your resistance. You look at a good hitter in baseball, they turn the foot in. Look at an ice skater, a hockey player. They plant this way, they sure don't plant that way.
Right.
So when they plant here, they can
go
use
to
their
the
leg.
target.
How many amateurs do you see perpendicular or even inside?
Almost none.
Almost
None. And it's because they don't know. So I always say this: if I have say a narrow stance, say this is my stance with a 6-iron, which is horrible, narrow stance, and my toes are out this way, my right foot's out. All of a sudden, the right hip over rotates, the right knee straightens. It's just physics. Okay, with it.
As soon as it does, your left
Everything goes
this way.
everything goes sideways, like you said. 13 sockets and joints.
They got to coordinate together.
And if one of them goes off, what do the other with 12 do? They follow suit. Well, that was really cool when he told me that, because I didn't understand that. So now look, if I'm wide, and the wider you get, the taller you become. If I'm standing like this, I got to bend. Let's just exaggerate. If I'm standing like that, I'm taller. So in a normal stance, which I think this is, for me, shoulders inside feet, I'm tall. My spine is not tilted. I mean, it's tilted a little bit, but it's not bent over. It's not rounded. So I have no stress. So now if I push back into my right, this thing holds me. See, the hip's not moving much. But as soon as I turn the toes out, this thing over rotates, it's over. It's all she wrote.
Can't get back to the ball.
No, you can't. You can't push. And I always say that once I get back in here somewhere, now I can push that way. And every time I push that way, look at the club. It's right on the ball. So that's the easy part to understand. Is it easy to do? No, you got to work your butt off. But it's physics, and that's what he taught me the most about it. Because I believed that when I first came down, the club has to move up and the club has to move down. It cannot go sideways and sideways. If the club goes sideways, guess what the ball does? Go sideways.
As players age, amateur players, they'll cheat that foot out to try and get more of a turn. But you think it's a fake turn, or it's not really?
Well, first of all,
This is good.
You see, if you turn it out and try to turn, all you do is twist. You twist into your left leg because you can't turn from 2 sockets and 2 joints. Now, ask a physics professor how, because you can't. So what happens is your spine has to move into that socket, into that leg, then it recoils, and it's very.
Nice shot. Play that rock, bro.